Have you ever gotten to the train station, but you look up and, oh no, the train is already pulling away? It's just a really frustrating feeling, right? You arrived, but the train actually left before you even got there. Now, both of these things happen in the past. But how do we tell this story clearly in English? Like, how do we show exactly which action happened first? Well, today, we're going to learn exactly how to do that.
So let's take a look at this timeline. We have 2 points in the past. First, the train left, and second, you arrived. When 2 different actions happen in the past like this, English has a really cool special grammar rule. Basically, we use a special structure for the action that happened first. So the absolute key here is that we need a way to show that the train leaving happened way before your arrival. We call this rule the past perfect, but honestly, you can just think of it as the first past. To build it, we just use the word had plus our finished action word. For example, had left, had eaten, or had walked. It is so simple. You always use had no matter who you're talking about. I had, you had, she had, they had. Easy, right?
But hold on a second. Here's a mistake a lot of beginners make. Take a look at this incorrect sentence. The train has left when I arrived. Now this is wrong. Why? Because has is a present word. It's for right now. But remember, our story is entirely in the past, so we absolutely must use the correct version. The train had left when I arrived.
Okay, now it's your turn. Read this sentence. I have or had eaten breakfast before I walked the dog. Which one is correct? Go ahead and pause this explainer right now and actually say your answer out loud. So, did you say it? Awesome. The correct answer is, I had eaten breakfast before I walked the dog. You ate breakfast first, so it definitely needs that special first past word, had. Great job. You're already telling really clear stories in the past.
Now that you know this, let's look at a totally different situation. What happens if that first past action takes a really long time? Imagine you're waiting at a bus stop. You wait and wait and wait. This timeline shows us exactly what's happening. Here we have this long, stretched out block of time. You were waiting for an hour. It was a continuing action. Then suddenly, bam, a second action happens. The bus arrived. So the long action gets interrupted by the short, sudden action. For this situation, we use a new rule. The formal name is the past perfect continuous, but let's just call it the long past action. To make this one, we need 3 parts. Had plus been plus the action with an ing at the very end, like had been waiting or had been walking. That little ing perfectly shows us that the action took a long time. Just like before, there's a really common trap here. You might hear someone say, she has been working when it rained, but since the whole story is in the past, we definitely cannot use the present word has. The correct way is, she had been working when it rained. She was doing a long action, working in the garden, and then the rain suddenly started. All right, let's test your memory. Which option is the best choice here? We had been waiting or had waited for an hour when the bus finally arrived. Which one is the absolute best choice to show a long, continuing action? Go ahead and type your answer in the comments below right now before I reveal it. Okay, let's see if you got it right. The correct answer is, we had been waiting for an hour when the bus finally arrived. Because you waited for a whole hour, it was a long time. Adding that ing shows that length of time perfectly. You are doing fantastic so far, but right about now, you might be wondering, how do I actually choose between the 2 rules? When do I use this simple had, and when do I use the long had been ing? Let's compare them directly. The biggest question to ask yourself is this: was the action totally finished, or was it still going? What's really interesting here is the difference in feeling between the 2. On one hand, we have, I had cleaned the house. This means the job is 100% done, the house is sparkling clean, the work is finished. On the other hand, I had been cleaning the house. This means you spent a long time cleaning, and honestly, you might not be finished yet. You might literally still be holding the mop. Let's map this out to see how it builds your story. First, if I say, I had ridden my bike when I saw Paul, the bike ride is completely finished. You are standing off the bike when you see your friend. But if we stretch that out and say, I had been riding my bike when I saw Paul, well, this is a long line. You're on the bike, pedaling, still in motion, and suddenly you see Paul. Do you see how the ing makes the story feel alive and like it's still happening? Now hold on, be careful here. I have a really important warning for you. There is an exception to this rule. Some English words do not like that ing ending at all. You just cannot use them for long actions. We call these feeling and thinking words. You might also hear English teachers call them stative verbs. These include common words like know, like, understand, see, and taste. These words describe a state of being, not an action. Because they aren't physical actions, we generally do not put ing on them. And this leads to a super common mistake. You might be really tempted to say, I had been knowing him for years. But because know is a thinking word, this just sounds very unnatural in English. You must use the simple finished form instead. So the correct version is, I had known him for years. Let's practice this exception really quickly. Read this sentence. We had been tasting or had tasted the bad milk, so we threw it away. Remember our list of feeling and thinking words? Pause this explainer right here and say your answer out loud. Did you choose the right one? The correct answer is, we had tasted the bad milk. Taste is a sense, right? It's a feeling word. It firmly belongs on the no ing list. So we just use the simple form, had tasted. Wow, you have learned so much today. You learned how to tell stories about the past, how to show exactly which action happened first, and how to talk about those long, ongoing actions. Let's put everything together and review. Here is your quick cheat sheet. If you want to show an action finished first, use had plus the action. Example, I had eaten. If you want to show a long, continuing action, use had been plus the ing word. Example, I had been waiting. And finally, if you have a feeling or thinking word, never use ing. Just stick to had plus the action. Example, I had known. Great! You just learned all the rules. Next, let's try our final quizzes to see how much you remember. I'm going to give you 2 events. Event 1, we played football. Event 2, it rained. I want you to combine these into one single sentence, using the long action rule, specifically had been playing. Go ahead and say it out loud. Excellent work. If you said, we had been playing football when it rained, you are absolutely spot on. Okay, here is your very last question. She had been working or had worked in a restaurant for 2 years when she became a manager. Which one emphasizes that the job was a long, continuing action? Type your final answer in the comments right now. The correct answer is, she had been working. Awesome job today. Seriously. You are now completely ready to tell clear, exciting stories in English using these past tenses. Keep practicing your sentences in the comments because I will absolutely be reading them. If this explainer helped you understand English grammar a little better today, please subscribe so you don't miss our very next lesson. But before you go, I want you to think about this. How would you describe the best day of your entire life using these past tenses? Keep learning, keep practicing, and I will see you next time.